so...
The beacon is over here. We've surely missed the signal. Let's light it quickly before it's too late.
Hello, I am Measure, and this is sort of a response video to this video by Salt Factor.
Who is still rambling about how great while
Wait a bit.
I don't know, maybe watching this group of Chaos Warriors needed to looting, exploring. I do have to say that while I jumped into this game thinking that the gameplay would be ridiculously clunky, since that's something that I do actually remember about it, it isn't all that bad.
It really isn't.
At least not on PC.
Yeah.
I feel like it was probably more of a controller console thing.
PC Master Race, baby, let's go.
But on PC it's pretty intuitive and does things right for a lot of the time. That said, there is a formula to all of these areas so far. That formula being walk into the area, get swarmed by enemies, kill the enemies, loot whatever else, and then repeat.
Yeah, I agree. That can get pretty boring. You know, I think it's worse in Dragon Age 2 because Dragon Age 2, like, every fight has like waves on it, so it becomes way more noticeable. You know, you get into an area, you get a first fight, then you get a second wave, then you get a third wave, then Dragon Age 2 is pretty fucking hard. Dragon Age 2 is very, very difficult. You know, I think Dragon Age 2 is way too difficult, at least in Nightmare mode. I don't play Dragon Age in any other sort of difficulty, so I wouldn't know. Anyways, got on with the video. That's not what I came here for, you know. That's not the part that I came here for. I just watching the video now, but still, he makes a good point. This is a good video, by the way. He makes a lot of good points here.
Does get old very quickly. It's not like I'm hating my life right now, but the combat alone could definitely use a bit of a revamp, as there isn't a ton to it right now. I'm sure this will get better down the line, but for now it generally tends to be pretty boring and less about positioning and strategy.
I think the main reason for that is that he picked the warrior. You know, without the mage gameplay, you know, it gets pretty boring because it's just auto-attacking, basically. So I agree with that criticism right there. I think that Dragon Age should do a little bit more. Origins, I mean, should have done. Origins should have done a little bit more in the in the way of like making warriors feel more distinct, you know, because warriors have essentially like a skill tree, and you get the skills and that's it, you know. If you make a shield warrior, it's gonna be the exact same build as Alistair. I'm not joking here, it's gonna be the exact same build. So let's go.
Well, right as I started bitching, BioWare...
This is the part that I came to respond to. Let's listen to it, and I shall interject with any quips that I may have, you know.
Decided to throw this big meaty chud at us. This is an ogre. On the surface, it looks like the kind of fight that you could heal through while sustaining damage. In reality, this fight is fucking ridiculous at this stage.
I disagree. As I showed in the video before, It's not that difficult, you know. If you know what you're doing, at least it's not that difficult. Not damn, that sounded very snarky. Okay, not to say that I'm criticizing that guy, but I think he should. Well, I think he should try harder. He just should try harder before criticizing a game. He should try beating it. Try as he might, you know, beating it in the hardest difficulty possible. I think that before you criticize any game, you should do that, because otherwise it sounds kind of you know, empty. You know, it's empty criticism. You know.
I know how stupid I sound after just complaining about how simplistic the battles were with no real strategy, but this is the exact opposite issue. I tried micromanaging and healing people who were getting targeted. I tried pulling aggro with Alistair while everyone else jumps on the thing.
If you're going to pull aggro with Alistair, you should get a talent taunt. Micromanaging and healing is not that difficult. If you're spreading damage around, you can use a lot of lesser health poultices, because they have cooldown on one character. So if one character is taking damage, then you use it, and then you can't use it because it's on a cooldown. If one character takes damage, you use it, and then you let other characters take damage. They can use it again. So spreading damage around makes this fight way easier. But like I showed you, you don't even need to do that, because you can just taunt with Alistair, and he can tank everything. He can simply tank it and heal through it. If you know what you're doing, obviously.
And eventually, the only strategy that I could actually manage to pull off was exploiting the ogre's AI and kiting it around the room while everyone takes pot shots at the thing with...
That is some insane cheese, and sounds very boring. You know, I don't think you should do that. So, I don't think that's necessary, and I don't think you should do that. That's more of an exploit than a strategy, really. And still... kind of boring, like I said. It's not very engaging gameplay.
Bows. This isn't grand strategy that feels rewarding. This is a poorly designed fight at this level, with the skills that I have access to.
I disagree. It's completely possible to do this fight.
And again, I know that I was practically begging for this, but it really doesn't feel fun to have one of my guys get picked up and punched repeatedly to death with no means of escaping.
When you guys get picked up, that's called an ability that ogres and bears and some other creatures have, called Overwhelm. So yeah, that ability picks you up, incapacitates you, and starts doing damage. In order to stop that ability, what you do is you use a crowd control ability, or you use any sort of stun, any sort of, you know, like CC, petrify, anything. You know, I notice that Alistair has both Shield Bash and Shield Pummel. Both of these abilities stop that from happening. Alistair is right here. All he needs to do is switch to Alistair and use an ability. That's all he needs to do. Alistair is literally right here. And, oh, it's on cooldown, whatever. Go to tactics and make sure that Alistair doesn't use these abilities, and save them for when one of your guys gets picked up. So that way, when one of your guys gets picked up, you switch to Alistair and boom, Shield Bash. That's it. Shield Bash always works. Shield Bash always stops this. And there's Shield Pummel too, which you can use. Like, this right here. This build, I don't believe has any sort of crowd control ability. Warriors, they have riposte later, but I don't think he can get riposte right now. Actually, he got flurry, so yeah, he should have gotten riposte. That was a bad move. He should have gotten riposte, because it's a crowd control ability. He stops this. This guy has he has that shot, you know. He has he first of all, this guy's a bow and arrow guy. I don't think he should be hitting this, but he has like a stunning shot, I think it's called, crippling shot, I don't know. Still, it is a crowd control ability, and it works. Again, this guy has I believe he has access to paralyze, I think. So yeah, 3 characters with crowd control abilities, possibly 4 if you're gonna build that way. And No, no dice.
And it feels really bad when the ogre teleports both itself and its melee attacks to hit you no matter how far away you get from it. The fight would feel completely different if you could get away from its shockwave attack by stepping out of the range, or
It would be too easy. In Dragon Age 2, the ogre's ram ability is actually like they go and they hit a wall, you know, you can dodge it and they hit a wall. It's way easier there. And Dragon Age in general doesn't have that many shall we say dodgeable abilities. Like, it doesn't have that many of it. It's more of a micromanaging health type thing. You know, when you get hit, you get hit, you know, that's it. You need to take it.
sidestepping its bull rush. At least then you could poke and run as a melee fighter. But either I got some bad luck with the hitbox, or this thing just slaps someone no matter what when it doesn't.
It just slap you no matter what. I believe that even like possible like AoE abilities, like I don't know, a mage throwing a fireball, you can't really dodge it because it's just targeted, you know. Even in Dragon Age, like even a proper crowd control ability, even the ogre's like hurl when he throws a rock at you, you can't dodge it. The max you can do is separate a guy so only one guy gets hit, but you can't just dodge it altogether, you know. So yeah, Dragon Age 2 doesn't have that many dodgeable abilities. Dragon Age 1, I mean, I think it would be cool, but still, this fight doesn't need it. It's not that hard.
Attack, because there were moments where I clearly got out of the range and it still smoked me. Like I said, later in the game, this fight would have been pretty damn cool because I'd likely have a party that's been filled out and customized and had tactics built into it to adjust to this threat.
Later in the game, ogres become straight up regular enemies because they're not that hard, you know? They don't have any sort of like elemental ability. They don't have any sort of really complex like things that you need to manage. They really aren't that complex, you know? They don't. It's not like you need a Paltus, you know, to drink, you know, like for example the High Dragon, you know, there's strategy involved, you know. The High Dragon, you need to, I don't know, drink fire things, you know, fire protection Paltuses, and then you need to get someone to tank, and then you need to like get rogues to backstab and stuff, you know. You need to like do a lot of stuff. Here it's just an ogre, dude. It's not that hard really. So yeah.
But as things stand, this is too early for a fight where I have two no-name party members alongside my two melee-oriented main guys.
Yeah. So no, you can have two melee-oriented main guys. You can have two, like, I don't know, range or anything main guys. It doesn't matter. You could solo this ogre in like normal difficulty. You can solo this ogre. So yeah, I disagree. It's not too early. It's a decent amount. Like, at this point, you have already got into the not the Brazilian forest, the Kokari Wilds, and you already got into the Kokari Wilds. You already, you know, done a lot of that stuff, and you're supposed to be somewhat competent at killing Darkspawn, you know, like this ogre. So yeah, I don't think it's too early at all. And using your bow and arrow in a guy that doesn't have any bow and arrow skills, that's pretty juicy. It's gonna be some high DPS right there, let me tell you that much.
Either way, it's time to light the beacon at last. Well, as foreshadowed, Loghain sees the beacon lit and orders his men to retreat.
Yeah, Loghain's an asshole. Anyways, that was it. That was the response that I wanted to give. Thank you for watching the video. Yeah, it's a good video. This video by Salt Factory, it's pretty good. I generally like it. Let me like it. Boom. So, anyways, it's a really good video, but I disagree with some of his assessments. Later on, he again complains about the difficulty. I think that he does that, but I disagree because I'm such a badass hardcore gamer. I never found that issue, you know. So yeah, thanks for watching. Later.